Okay, my name is William Sheehy, and I'm going to answer the questions. So, starting out the process and purpose of reading. So, in my mind, there's multiple layers to this. The process of reading is can be learning how to um, understand just language and reading text on a literal level of understanding what do things mean, vocabulary, putting together sentences, paragraphs, at a higher level, learning how to interpret texts in different ways, using literary devices and things like that. And also part of that process, though, another thing can be learning how to read for the purpose of like a test and learning different strategies of what to pick out and what to focus on for answers. Now, the purpose of reading, in my mind, a big picture is learning how to get information and learn from other people. That's really, I mean, being able to read allows you to actually get the knowledge of all of, well, humans throughout time. That's how we transmit most of our our information before video and recordings, and so that's quite important. The purpose of also reading can be for just to be able to learn about yourself and be able to better understand things, being able to process different experiences or anything like that. Now, the role of morphology and contextual analysis have on vocabulary development is obviously uh, quite huge in that you need to be able to understand how to put together words and different parts of words, and also try to how to ideally say them in order to actually know what new words mean. Same with contextual analysis of learning how to um, put together things that you already know, sentences, and or get clues from the sentence so that you can actually learn new words, um, mostly on your own, even if it's not 100% accurate. That's how we learn new words without having to look up a dictionary every single time, is being able to have just one or two words in a sentence and be like, oh, okay, I know what the rest of this means, and so that must mean that this word has this meaning. Evidence-based practices for teaching phonemic awareness to English learners um, is important in that being able, especially for students who are English is not their first language, they need to know the rules and strategies for trying to pronounce words correctly and read words aloud, even if it's not always correct, because there are always exceptions in English to particular things of how you're going to say things. And students will say why, and you say just because. But you need to know all of those basic rules to get most things correct, and that way then you can find out what the exceptions are because they come from maybe some other language. How an English learner's home language uh, can be utilized to support and strengthen the development of foundational phonics. Um, it can be quite important so that a person can even understand what a word means, uh, so that way they don't have to think about what the meaning is, and they can just focus on maybe the sounds and trying to just pronounce it, as opposed to if you don't know what anything means at all and you have completely no context, it oftentimes then words just turn into just gibberish and just sounds, and they lose meaning. So it can be quite important to be able to maybe translate it or allow students sometimes even to use the sounds of their mother tongue to do comparison with that particular English word. Next is the necessary components to achieve effective comprehension, including well-developed language, multiple higher order thinking processes, and self-correction. Some of those components to achieve comprehension can include of course, the basic things like phonemic awareness and um, learning morphology and things. Um, but getting full comprehension and multiple higher level thinking processes is it's important to be able to not just put words together, but be able to put them into sentences, put them into paragraphs, be able to then use those to use critical thinking skills. So, for example, using the vocabulary, whatever level a student is at, to be able to express opinions, to be able to um, think about what they are reading and being able to give as I said, give an opinion, do compare and contrast, do uh, advantages and disadvantages. These are much higher level kinds of processes in which you're not only just taking something in, but then having a some kind of feedback or being able to respond to whatever you're reading. Finally, is how evidence-based best practices can be utilized to improve comprehension in English learners, including those with reading difficulties and dyslexia. So it's important, of course, to be able to be objective and be able to actually collect evidence of what actually helps students. Um, Tests can help with that and different forms of tests. And it's important, one, to be able to just even recognize if someone has a learning disability. For example, sometimes students have poor eyesight and teachers are not aware until they start noticing where maybe just even where they sit, but also maybe that they are unable to read very clearly. Certainly things with like dyslexia, those are things that you have to figure out with testing, in which it's not, you're finding out, oh, it's not just that they maybe have just less experience, but in fact they have a major learning disability that they need to learn coping strategies. So with that, then backing that up with evidence-based practices to be able to know what people have, kind of different conditions, but also then figure out the progress that they make over time. Are particular teaching strategies working? Are different test taking strategies working or not? In which case you need to know you need to change things. So all those things together can hopefully help improve a student's learning.